Happy 2013 and welcome to the new age. Blessings. Well, I wanted to talk about some topics that have my interest. Barack Obama has continued his status as president of the United States. This was an interesting campaign because not only did he win before all the counts were done, but he also managed to pull some things off, like making sure you guys only thought that there were two options to vote for. What do you mean? A lot of people commented as, well, I have to pick the best of two evils. So why pick evil anyway would be my whole thing, but this let me know the level of education of what people remembered from just basic elementary school politics that you learned in school. Anybody who's an 80s baby definitely remember the fall of the Soviet Union and was being taught about communism, libertarianism, the independent party, and that there were more different types of government and different parties that ran government and how they run the government. Why did people forget that there were such thing as third parties? And why didn't anybody seek out and find out who these third parties? I mean, there were some that actually went to seek out some new information, but most of it was shut out. And if anyone doesn't believe what I have to say, ask Miss Jill Stein of the Green Party about her detaining of 8 hours during one of the presidential elections. Not elections, the presidential debates that she was not allowed to attend, even though she was a rightful presidential candidate. So they censored your ability to know that you had more than one option. And one of the things that they've done is use the free sandwich technique to grab the attention of those who are hungry. The free sandwich thing is giving a dog a bone. When you give a dog a bone, the dog is so starving they'll take the bone regardless of the content. It's just happy to receive the bone, and it's not a meal, it's just happy to get it. So y'all receive bones with no meat on it, and y'all were happy to take it. And people are mad at people who don't want to be financially responsible for your free sandwich. Well, no, I don't want to pay for somebody else who gets consistently sick or use the ER as, a primary care physician. And for the fact that they have now where your children is on your insurance until you're 26. Why can't the child, after they finish school, have a job that has benefits and they get their own shit? Whatever happened to that? What happened to teaching children independence? Why do we have so many freaking old behind children that children are now adolescents until they're like 30 living off their parents? I didn't know that was ever supposed to be okay, because when I grew up, after you're 18, you were definitely not supposed to be in the house, let alone be living off your parents. So they toss out the free sandwich of healthcare that no one knows how we're going to pay for because we're broke. We printed a bunch of counterfeit money, gave it to paid debts and then paid debts, and went into the pockets of heads. The heads also had their own interests and their own investing, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we're left with trillions of dollars in debt. And we keep on spending on defense and bombing countries that don't touch us. I don't know how you call that defense. That seems more offensive. To defend, you have to be there's got to be a reason to defend. And the reason would be because you feel a threat. How are you feeling that threat? Because a country is treating their people wrong, or however you wanted to quote it. What is that a threat to you? You gave sanctions to these countries. Why? Because the country didn't care about your sanction, because their product in their country is more valuable than anything the U.S. could ever produce. Therefore, they can actually create their own monetary system and crush the U.S. dollar. because the dollar has no backing. So, I mean, really, how is that, other than that financial, how is that a threat? I guess it is a big threat. Anytime you feel as though your money is threatened, you want to use our military to defend it. Because these people did not touch us. They have nothing to do with 9/11. No matter, I mean, I don't personally believe that this was something done by Al-Qaeda and, group. I do think this was a self-inflicted wound, and all the evidence of physics show it. But even though I can have my own personal beliefs or my own personal investigation into what I go into, these people had not had any involvement in this event, had any involvement in anything that had to do with touching us. You're saying that you're touching these people because of them going against themselves. What does that have to do with you? When did we start becoming the police of the world? When did we have the money to do so? We don't. So we're spending countless of buku dollars to go into other countries and make it really a part of our one world union. Giving money and artillery to the rebels, and the rebels is Al-Qaeda, so-called. The people that we put down there to start the trouble. Then, not only that, while we getting these free sandwiches and benefits, we're getting our freaking constitutional rights raped. I mean, that constitution has been... It doesn't exist. I don't know why we even hoping it do. They stripped it. And it's not even just with laws. It's just with your so-called personal morale. The First Amendment, the right to speak. Everybody has the human ability to speak, right? And that human ability gives you the right to say things that you proclaim or you interpret, or you just, just because you feel as though you have the ability to, you have the choice to. Please choose wisely in how you speak. But it's still your choice, because that's your human right. And we forgot that human rights even go above our right to be an American. So even before you're an American, you're a human being. You have the right to speak. When it became to the point that we are apologizing to people for speaking things that we find are true, when we can pull evidence to these truths, we have to now apologize for what we say. So your personal morale is stripping that First Amendment. And now they're doing it to where if you speak against anything that they don't agree with, if you're pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment or so, they're taking off your postings on your website. If you're against the war, they're taking off your postings. They're banning your YouTubes. They're hitting you up on Facebook. I had things taken off my postings. I had to go back and find other evidence and everything to put back on just to be able to share again what I was able to find. So they're censoring you in how you find your evidence and speaking if it's not to something they agree with that should be known. So they are finding ways to strip your First Amendment. Then if you speak truth, they're using media, and media they used to, surprisingly, they used to be more so free speech themselves, but I've noticed lately after this new election, a lot of people are scared to speak the way they truly feel, or want to ridicule people that do speak how they truly feel, when they forgot they used to say some things themselves that were very controversial. And these are networks that I watched very frequently because I was very interested in how they were just very open and not just, censoring themselves to make a a network happy. But now it seems like every time the Obama thing comes up, they say, oh, he's just he just got to do what he got to do. He doesn't know the pressures, and he didn't know. Before you get that seat, sweetheart, yes you do. They brief you on all of that, because you don't get the seat without a couple of things being in order, and one is the bloodline. You don't become president without that bloodline. And ask Dick Cheney's wife, Lynn Cheney, when she wrote that book, what was it? No Boundaries, No Fences in 2007 when she was speaking on how Obama is little baby cousin 11. No, you do not get that seat without a bloodline, boo-boo. That's a monarchy. It's above where we're at. We don't vote them in. They get it. They know the deal. They know what they're supposed to do. So don't give that crap. Oh, he's just doing it because he's a puppet. That man is highly too smart. He's not Bush. And even Bush was smarter than what we thought. And he pulled that card out quick, that even though he can be a little on the slow side, that he actually knew more than we thought he did. So you think someone as stupid as Bush knew as much, but somebody like Barack, as brilliant as that man can prove himself to be, don't know a damn thing and just want to follow along? That is bullshit. Come on, Al, you really believe that? And then he signs things willy-nilly in front of your face like the NDAA, which states that U.S. citizens under his authority can be detained without judge and jury, without your right to be faced by your accuser, and for the right for you to prove your innocence. Completely against your constitutional right. Why did the judiciary system stop this? Is my question, because that's their job. Then he allows for places like Boston Dynamics to get money and funding for military purposes to use their robotic engineering to make weapons that me and you will never be at this level unless y'all start getting into robotics now, because these brothers made something that you can go on DARPA.mil, is a military site, DARPA.mil, and look at their LS3 DARPA dogs and the DARPA cheetah and the DARPA robot human that got a strut and stroll. Look at what they using your money to fuck you up with. This is for domestic terrorism. Okay? Guantanamo Bay is still open for a reason, guys. Come on, stop letting all this idolization of one person, of the so-called first black president, which that is a lie, and go to Dick Gregory's website and he'll educate you on John Hanson. And you need to find out your black ancestors came from, because before Europeans had the trade routes, that was an African trade route. Y'all guys brought them here. Y'all started doing trades with them when y'all started warring out with the Europeans and started trying to build your bridges back. And when y'all brought them over here, y'all brought y'all own slaves over here, and y'all forgot that y'all had politics over here. Y'all forgot about there are black indigenous tribes over here. There are what's called the free men. How were y'all considered slaves? That y'all all were brought over as so-called slaves, but there were free men. So educate yourself, please, on your history before being proud of something that is not even a part of your history. It has nothing to do with you. Your first black president was John Hanson. Y'all ran politics before the Europeans even colonized. Y'all had trade routes before they colonized. So get your pride into what you really need to get it into, because this idolization allowed y'all to be proud of somebody who is screwing y'all over. He killed y'all Second Amendment right now by attacking your ability to defend yourself. No military or government under the forefathers have the right to have access to a defense that is higher than your own. This is so if the military and the government become tyrant, they will not have the access to mess you up more than you can mess them up. But now you are getting so scared by random little events that all of a sudden need to happen when they need to control the situation. Come on now. The situation in Colorado with the movie there was really sloppy. The guy goes in dressed like a full-armed ops, full-armed military ops, with stuff you cannot get at a gun show. and very fully capable of using this artillery like it's been handled very professionally for years. And this is done by a neurosurgeon, a geeky guy who was, really well liked. All of a sudden needs to act like thing and prove a point, y'all saying. And then not only that, he goes to court with orange hair with a week's worth of roots, and his roots are a blondish dark color. But the first mugshot was a man of darker features, darker hair, no tips to show that you cut the hair, and one has a mole, one doesn't. The features didn't match up, and then the guy is supposed to represent the Joker, since he had the orange hair, but the Joker has green hair. So everything just seemed like, what? What are you trying to say? So excuse anybody to have questions if things just didn't add up. I mean, you got to understand, if stuff don't add up, somebody's going to have a question. It has nothing to do about, feeling sorry, because not everybody needs to feel sorry when you have people who grew up, like me and my peers, with gunshots and shows every day. We had students shot up in our school. We had schools where people get robbed, raped, drugs get sold, just like the movie Lean On Me. So to us, none of this is new, and none of y'all boo-hoo cried for our little situations that happen on a daily basis. No one comes and says the youth in our situation, and most of us are homeless youth, so most of us see more than you could imagine. We know what AKs look like because we've seen them before. And it's not the legal people you have to. You can make all the laws you want. All the laws is to target people who are doing right. It has nothing to do with targeting those who do wrong. Because the only thing you have as a consequence is to throw somebody in a cage. That's not showing. That's not going to do anything. We'll go into that at another time. Because y'all penal systems suck. It's a freaking revolving door and mostly a rehab. That's the truth. But he established having the ability to have the NDAA come right when y'all have these situations where all of a sudden these massacres are happening that have too many questions. A boy with Asperger's has no capability of going to school. His mother is now taking care of him to the point where he has to be homeschooled and maintained at home. He is not capable of going to school, but he has the capability of managing heavy artillery and plotting out a massacre. And Asperger's is almost like having autism. I'm trying to understand where's not the question at. And then both these boys have fathers that are in some deep shit. And y'all can go investigate that on your own, which I'd advise you to. And then why would the mother have to have heavy artillery in her home? She lives in a beautiful place in the most peaceful county in America. What is the reason to have heavy artillery like this? Why does she feel the personal need to have this in her home? What does she feel threatened of? No one asks that question. So therefore, you have these weird events that happen that now all of a sudden people will become humanitarian and want to do something, and you got a bunch of actors that play shoot 'em up scenes all the time saying, I'm so against guns. Yeah, right, we don't believe you. So don't get mad if we call y'all contradictory to what y'all stand for. But y'all don't cry for our little homeless urban youth that's going through it all the time. But y'all want to cry when one or two situations, and now it has to be a stream where y'all need to take action, huh? So now that you have the Second Amendment being tampered with, you also have wiretapping on your Fourth Amendment. They're coming into your homes without warrants. I've seen personally what the whole criminal system can do, and how much bullshit that's in the criminal system, and how much they get away with murder is a freaking product, is a commodity, and it's nothing, no justice within it. So, let's see. We have a president who wins before his counts, who bans your third parties, who takes away your general freedoms of your Constitution, who then tells you you need to pay your bills. He promises you that you're not going to get nothing cut. And then after he gets elected, the first thing he says, we cutting everything and we're paying our bills. Cute. Well, why did you run up the fucking credit card? Who told you to print up all them bailouts? I didn't. I didn't tell you to go in freaking Libya and Yemen. We shouldn't be around the Gaza Strip. We shouldn't be fucking joining hands and getting through Palestine and shit. So why are we the fuck there? I didn't authorize that. I didn't even remember that being on the fucking ballot. So it wasn't even a Democratic vote. So how the hell are we there? Because of some patriotic duty we must hold to go into somebody else's crib and tell them what the hell to do? Can I go into your house and say, I don't like the policies of your home, and I don't like the way your home is done, and start changing around your home, and tell you, if you don't agree with what I say, you cannot buy things outside of this home? And then, if you also go against that, I start tearing up your home. I take a bat to your television or whatever. I can't do that. That's wrong. But we can do that to other countries and condone it and call it patriotic. We are contradictions. We're walking freaking contradictions. And when we come to see that our own karma, it comes to ourselves. Because they're going to do that to American citizens. They have been. They have been drone bombing us and everything right in our own backyards. I've seen drones in our sky. So come on with that crap. They already signing into different ways into selling off your land, to gathering you guys up into areas where they can equally collect you outside, away from them. Try figuring out why certain populations are going inner city, pushing urban areas out, how they're advertising to go more further out of the inner city for the people of low income. Figure out their chess moves. Watch their chessboard. They're going against you guys. So it's going to be a day where the things they are doing to others is going to be done to you. Karma is going to be a son of a bitch. And I'm going to sit back because I'm not going to force you to drink the water, boo. I might lead you to it, but I'm not going to force you to drink the water. It's up to you to decide on how are you going to stand and what is going to be maintained. Because you let a president get away with allowing a bank to sell drugs. I mean, invest how much billions of dollars in drugs? Nobody going to jail, but if you smoke a J, you can go to jail, and for it being a federal offense, anybody in these new legal states to smoke weed, they can all call martial law and just military confine y'all asses and pay for that shit out of our fucking government taxes for federal funding of the war against drugs. Y'all don't know what y'all set yourselves up. And for those who wanted to see from the states, watch that movie fucking Red Dawn. If shit was to occur, y'all don't have a military to cover your asses or a government. So what will happen is y'all don't have nobody to help you. And when it's time to pay the motherfucking bill, guess who gets the check written off first? Y'all asses. Well, y'all can have their asses, and they can come over and take over your asses. Y'all don't think. All these freaking free sandwiches is for a fucking reason. So please do me a favor and really sit there and think what we've gotten ourselves into. I'm not even going to, I mean, people ask me why I look into eugenetics and stuff, because I do agree with certain things. We do fuck shit up. We do. We're a species that manages to fuck things up consistently and make the same mistakes over, and everything else suffers because of it. And we do this very collectively. We become very ignorant. So no, I'm not against depopulation. Some of us do need to go. But for those who, I'm going to let you know, because right now they're watching this, they're watching everything, they're up on you, they're up on me. You can't consider somebody to have power if they're fearful of something. They're fearful of you. If they have to take the time to put out these policies and these plans and spend this much time into doing so, into doing things to fuck us up, or for us to fuck each other up first, and then they can come in and clean up the rest of the mess, it means they're threatened by you. And I don't know about you, but since I was able to grow up being raped several times, being tortured, captured, incarcerated, drugged up by institutions, and they still couldn't kill my thoughts. They can't. That's one thing. You can't kill what's in here and in your heart. They can try. It's up to you to let them. They try to control my mindset and make it collective of theirs with their drugs. They try to take my kids. They try to do everything to me. But look where I'm at now. I'm still here. And I don't look over my back. I am interested in why you're so interested in me, so I will follow up to figure out why are you interested in me. I'm not going to be naive. But even the days walking through Richard Allen projects, West Park projects, Brown Street, going through areas and that people know that what I'm talking about, cops shouldn't even roll through. I mean, I lived in a Merc capital, and I didn't look over my back, because that's what power is. To be able to enjoy life, love life, and all it stands for, no matter what happens. To be there, nobody taking that thought from you, that consciousness from you. They can't. Y'all have to get that in your heads. But they want to kill you, they want to poison you and give you shots for things that your body is supposed to kill. If your immune system cannot kill the flu, it's shot. There's something wrong. That's something when I was growing up, you never needed a shot for. People didn't die from the flu. People sweated it out. I mean, I sweat out the flu in like a day. I'm good. How is it that you guys are so sick you're dying from the flu? How is it so many people are having so many problems with cervical cancer? Stop spreading around your twat. Sex is not just for getting off. Be more responsible. Because it could be more than just catching a couple cervical cells that ain't acting right on your twat. Stop trying to cover up your problem and start correcting the behavior that causes the problem. These shots, you can go to the CDC website, and I'm going to give you the website that you can go to find this information out for yourself on what you're putting yourself into. First of all, when you're getting the flu shot, on the side panel of the shot, it explains to you that this is a virus that is inserted into a chick embryo. Okay? Not a yolk, an embryo. And while it's developing, they put formaldehyde into the embryo to put the virus in the stasis. When this is done, they take the virus and now put it into preservatives that include mercury and aluminum. And this is what you receive several shots of. You're putting this crap in your body. They fluoridate your water and tell you it's healthy. How is that healthy when fluoride attacks the calcium? That's why those who are in urban areas that are heavily fluoridated water have more teeth problems. And they say, no, you can look at people in Philadelphia in certain areas and see how messed up people's teeth are and how they get brown spots on their teeth. Something I'd had growing up, and I didn't know why. And I will brush my teeth twice a day, 3 times a day, drink plenty of cow's milk because calcium is supposed to be good, even though I found out you can even absorb the calcium completely in cow's milk. We'll talk about that later. But I will drink plenty of fluoridated water. And I couldn't get rid of the brown spots on my teeth, and my teeth looked poorish. Then when I decided to start deceasing the fluoridated water, my teeth started to brighten up. Then when I stopped using fluoride toothpaste, my teeth are white. See this? They look like what they're supposed to. No more brown spots, no more pores. They're healthy, they're strong. I don't have any cavities. So maybe there's something to that. That's my own personal experience, and that's something you have to see for yourself. But sodium fluoride is something you can go to the pest control center and get to kill your rodents. Not only that, on the back of your toothpaste it says, if you ingest more than a pea-sized amount, please call the poison control center. So why is that okay? Then when they give you GMO foods, confused gender, half-retarded foods, it's getting to the point where it's not being absorbed right into your system, or the systems of the animals eating it that you're eating the animals of, and it's causing ridiculous tumors and other effects. And they got a company that is over these GMOs, which is over your pesticides, and they're trying to manipulate and control the agricultural market. And look into Monsanto and more into the factors of what Monsanto is able to do. And for those that say, well, GMOs is in most of our food, please look into the study that went into why most of the countries around the world, matter of fact, I think it was just Ireland was the only other country other than the United States that uses this GMO corn, because everywhere else banned it. And if something banned, even in Africa, a starving child would not eat our fucking food. There's a reason, because Ireland went to council to say we need to ban the GMO, and they said why? Because Monsanto already did their studies, and in 90 days they found that there's nothing wrong. They was like, well, 90 days is not long enough, because after the 4th month, then symptoms start to kick in. And they were showing and proving how human-sized tumors were growing in the mammary glands, and more so that those who ingested the GMO, because they separated from the pesticide, they did GMO separate, pesticide separate, GMO with pesticide, and then a control without GMO or pesticide to see the different reaction of the rodents. And the GMO had the hardest effect. This confused organism now confuses the genetics while it's being ingested. And the proof is the cells that are now being built by your stem cells are now not able to have a function. It doesn't know what to do. It becomes like a retard, and it's not collectively bound to have the knowledge. It's retarded. It's just like strict. A cancer cell is literally a cell that cannot communicate with the other cells in your body that bring you life. And this is now what these cells are now turning into, cells that cannot communicate, and it'll go in places that are prone to be absorbed by these places. Your body absorbs certain nutrients and things in different areas, and it's attacking things that make you your male and female, because these are freaking corn grown to be lack of sex. They're trans, well, I can't even call it lack of sex, but both sex. They're transgender. And you're wondering why boys are coming out with hips with switches and boobs now, and girls are having lick yats as beards. I mean, really? You're really wondering? They're feeding this to your cows. So even if your cows is not getting injected with hormones, the fact that it's eating a confused organism is confusing its own natural hormones, and you're eating it and drinking the milk of this, which is a hormone-filled pus cup. And I mean, these are things that is implemented into your culture to kill you. Please look up on these things. Get smarter. Time is running out. Y'all need to get it together. I mean, look in the skies a little bit more often so you can see what I'm talking about. Stuff is really about to go down. And y'all don't know what y'all in for. I hope y'all pay attention to the messages they're trying to get you on TV with the new fads on the movies and the shows they're about to pull on you, because they tried to allow y'all to be all overwhelmed with 2012, and 2012 was nothing but us crossing the ecliptic with the illumination, and it was the beginning of new things. There was nothing that said end. Beginning of new things that you would never expect. Okay? So while they had y'all all in this, they were signing over our freaking rights and making us the new slaves. The new form of slaves, because you were already a slave. You allowed yourself to be a slave. Because while HSBC was funding freaking drug cartels and your president was giving those cartels guns, you could have pulled your money out of the freaking banks. You could have stopped paying your taxes and said, you know what? We're not having this no more. We're investing our taxes into our community. We're going to do what we need to do with our savings and build our own banks like the blacks did in North Carolina during the time when they were coming up into building their own business systems before they were getting crushed in by the civil rights and Jim Crow situations. So y'all need to get it together. Y'all became so dependent that y'all gotta live on somebody else controlling y'all's stuff. You need leaders to go into your community when you're supposed to be going into your community. Don't depend on no leader to do what you need to do. As much time as y'all took to put into campaigning and stuff, to put into fundraising and stuff for these campaigns, y'all could have been using that money to help out your own communities. How much money was actually put on campaigns? Really? And where could that money be used for now? And he wants to talk about paying bills? Stop running up the fucking credit card. Stop putting in shit that I didn't say I'd pay for. That ain't my bill. I'm not down for bombing nobody. I'm not down for military defense on our own citizens. I'm not into the stuff y'all getting into. So don't call it my bill. I know my bills, and it don't come close to the stuff you ran up. And don't use that as an excuse on why you can't come through on what you said you were going to come through. Y'all going to get y'all asses handed to y'all. Don't say I didn't say it.